Hello and welcome to my Devil May Cry 5 Dante Must Die Dante S-Rank Guide. This is Mission 10, Awaken. This mission is notorious for being hard to get the acquired style points on, and this mission along with Mission 8 and 18 have been portrayed as the perfect example for why the ranking system in this game is fundamentally broken. While I do agree with this, we are going to use the baseline for Dante, revolving around the Trickster and Infinite Air to play extremely aggressive and constantly attack and keep the style up. This is also the only time we're going to use the Sin Devil trigger for the sole purpose of keeping the style meter up on the second Fury fight. Having said that, I will do some mistake in this take and play far from perfectly. What is good though is that unlike Hell and Hell, you get checkpoint 3 times on this mission, and you can quit out through the XMB and continue through the main menu and keep the 1.2 no continuous bonus multiplier if you mess up a fight or die. The first fight here coming up against the Impusas and the Impusa Queen is a good opportunity to build a good average for the rest of the missions with style points, and I aim for around 6,000 style points here. But I've noticed it's a bit harder to commentate Dante compared to Nero because of all the inputs, and that Dante's gameplay is much faster, so bear with me a bit. But it may look a bit fancy or complicated what I do here, but it really isn't. If you check the baseline the separate video for the Dante baseline, I'm just doing the same thing over and over. I try to do the infinite air combo as much as possible, and then I make sure I jump cancel all the moves with the swords, so that I can just trickster out with the reversed air height and then trick back up to the enemy when they retaliate. And that's pretty much all I'm doing. But you should check out the separate video where I go through the Dante baseline in detail, and it's really not complicated. It's pretty much the same principle as the Nero baseline, but instead of the Buster arm, I use Trickster to be close to the enemy and keep attacking all the time. And we're gonna do a big mistake here now and take a hit because I thought that I was gonna kill the Impusa Queen there, but since I was in Devil Trigger, I took reduced damage and I didn't lose the style meter. So you can use that to your advantage. If you feel that you're about to take a hit, just activate Devil Trigger, and as long as you only take one hit, you will not lose the style meter and you will take reduced damage. The Judeca fight and the Judeca enemy in general here is pretty, I would say it's the most annoying enemy to fight on Dante Must Die with Dante because of them teleporting away, and can't stagger the Judeca when they Devil Trigger. So, and the Judeca teleporting around means that you will lose style. So what I'm gonna do here is, when as you see, I got the triple S now, so I'm gonna chip away a bit at the Judeca. And as you can see, I don't use the Sin Devil trigger, I just use Devil trigger as much as possible to avoid losing the style meter and just be even more aggressive. Made a mistake there, as you saw. I didn't manage to jump cancel the Swordmaster with the Cavalier there. It's important that you always try to jump cancel. So whenever you're about to take an attack, you can just do the reversed air hike and then trick back. But the Judecca is summoning here now, and that's a perfect opportunity to build some style and do some easy damage. But as I said in the video about the Dante baseline, the key to staying in air indefinitely is the Kalina and Gunslinger. You just jump cancel off the enemy, you use the Gunslinger air move with the Kalina, and the enemy gets launched back to you, and you can stay in the air indefinitely. The chaos, as you see, when they spin, I just shoot them with the double Kalina and do some Swordmaster attacks with the Devil Sword Dante. And then I try to do a heavy move, like a Cavalier move, to knock off their armor, and then I can just launch them, as you're seeing here, into the infinite air part of the baseline. And when they summon here now, I'm gonna use Devil Trigger just to knock them away and keep at it. I don't want them to start spinning here, which they're gonna do anyway, but I want to prolong it as long as possible. So this takes far from perfect, but it goes to show that you don't need to play perfect on this mission to S rank it. What you should do here, which I don't do, is you should farm Sin Devil Trigger here and use Sin Devil Trigger for the Fury fight coming up. But I'm gonna show you my method of fighting the Fury. What I do against the Fury is, I know how it telegraphs its attacks, and then I use the revolver instead of the Ice Age to parry. And then I usually shoot Fury one time after that with the Killeen Ann, and then do a cascade or some lightning moves. The Fury usually does 3 different moves. He leans down and pulls out his blade and attacks immediately. Or he blinks with his eyes, does 1 fade and attacks. Or he pulls out the blade and walks forward slowly towards you. As the latter 2 moves, I just count to 1, and then I do the revolver, and it will always parry him. And if he leans down and pulls out his sword and attacks immediately, I just do the revolver right away, and it will parry him. And this is a fail-proof method of fighting him. And it's gonna be very useful on mission 12, where you fight 2 Furies. As you saw there, because I didn't use the Sin Devil triggered, I bled 300 style points from this fight. But I can easily make up for that in the upcoming fights. And I'm gonna do the optional fight against the Impusa Queen to get some easy style points and juice up some Devil trigger for the second Fury fight. Since I didn't use the Sin Devil trigger against the Fury, I'm gonna use it here, just to keep the stall meter up. I use it here because this is a much better opportunity to get stall points. I'm gonna make sure I get the triple S here, and then I'm gonna use the Sin Devil trigger. And I think I'll get around 200 stall points from this.
Already here. These ladies work fast.
Whenever there is a Baphomet or Lusange around, I always focus them, obviously because they can shoot. And I try to keep the camera away from the riots here, so they won't start spinning. And I got the Baphomet into the Infinite Air baseline there. And I just used the Devil trigger to finish him off quickly. You want to have Sin Devil trigger for the next fight against the Fury and Pyrobats. But I can do the optional fight against Impusa and get some pretty easy stall points and juice up Devil trigger. So I just go all in here with the Devil trigger. They start to glow red after you've shot the chaoses. You can use a stinger or whatever move, and they will get knocked out of. And if you see, when I do the motorcycle charge, I switch to Devil Sword Dante during the animation and just spam the style button, and he does his swords also, and that does extra damage and builds some style, especially if you hit multiple enemies at the same time. In this game, it didn't give a lot, but it gave some style points. To S rank Dante must die, you need 6,000 style points. But with the 1.2 bonus multiplier for no continues, you get 1,000 style points. Okay, for this fight, I'm gonna use the Sin Devil trigger. Alright, so now I've killed the first Pyrobat. I just used the Sin Devil trigger right away. And this is going to kill both the Pyrobat and the Fury. Sometimes when you do this, the Fury will survive with low HP, but just use what I showed you before with the revolver parry if he survives, and it shouldn't be a problem at all. So after the first Chaos fight and after the second Judecca fight and before the fight you just saw, you get a checkpoint. You're not doing well with in terms of style points, or if you die, just quit out through the X and B and continue from the main menu. And you will, even though you quit out, you will still you will keep the no continuous bonus multiplier. Because I'm gonna screw up the fight here against the Proto-Angelo big time and almost die. But if I had died, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I could just quit through the X and B and restart before the...
Yeah, getting close. I can feel it.
The Scudo-Angelos, because they block, they can sometimes be hard to launch with Kalina. But if you do the Kalina gunslinger move and they don't get launched, just jump cancel off them as you're coming down, and then fire the gunslinger attack with the Kalina again, and it should launch them eventually. Problem with Proto-Angelo on Dante must die, he's probably the hardest enemy with Dante on Dante must die. It's because he has a lot of health and do a lot of damage, but when he Devil Trigger, you can't juggle him in the air because he will just fall to the ground, even though you launch him and try to juggle him with the infinite air baseline. But if I die here, I'm not too worried about it, because I will just quit out and through the X and B and redo the fight again. gain some style points from this. So the fights after the Fury works for building your average.